Okay, things are acting up weird. All of a sudden, I can't control what's going on over on the side here on StreamYard. Something's really weird here. So I got to see what's going on here and see if I can. Oh, damn it. Crap. Bear with me, folks. Something's really going on weird here. Oh, I don't know what the heck. It's got media up there. Okay. No. Because it's not allowing me to scroll up to what stuff I'm supposed to be able to see up there. I can't go up or down. I can't do nothing on the controls over here. I can't bring up the chat. I'm just trying to see what's going on. I hope I don't have to restart this stupid thing to be able to do anything. Yeah, because it's kind of locked. That is really weird, unless they totally changed everything around here. No, okay, okay, some things going, but it's still not doing everything here. That's working. Okay, I got the banners to go up and down, so I can change banners on here and stuff. All right, comments is finally working, but the media assets is locked and frozen. I can't scroll up and down to get I can't bring the channel logo up here. This is weird. This is really weird here. It's got me kind of really locked up here. It kind of ticks me off that stuff's happening here. Because I can't change my background. I can't change any of the other stuff here. Let me see if I can do something here, guys. This is really ticking me off that they're... Okay. Man. Because it was working before I hit the live button. And as soon as I hit the live button, I lost total control of the media media assets, which gives me all my backgrounds, all my lead-in musics and stuff. So there's like half my stuff I can't even view to bring up if I needed to bring it up. All right, guys, I'm going to try something here. It's going to do that 50-second replay here. I'm going to see if that'll free it up. All right. So it's going to go back to the books all come flying in here. So bear with me as I try to get this going here. No, that didn't free that up. I'm trying one other button here, see what it goes. Okay, it's got that. That's really sucks. Okay, well, let's see. So all in here, Walt Rogers came in first, then Super Scout, then Shady Hill Homestead, and okay, and we got a couple lurkers. Hopefully they're not trolls. If you're trolls, just go ahead and get out of here. Don't even come around because you're never going to be able to post anything here, trolls. We got it set so you can't do anything. All right. So before I hop in here, so tonight, tomorrow morning, late tonight into tomorrow morning is, I guess, daylight savings time swap out. I think it goes from 2 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Let me verify that. 20, and that is, yes. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, it becomes 1 o'clock in the morning, right? Or the way around. Oh no, it changes from 2 to 3. That's right. It's the other way. So you jump ahead an hour to so it's actually going to be darker again in the morning. And I'm not sure if I can get that to show. I'm going to be posting something tomorrow morning before I do the start the show. Let me go here. Wrong one. Dang it, wrong one. I used the other one to take the picture here. I want to see if I can show I can't bring it up on the screen, but I can bring it up on here. Okay, yeah, this has a fractured one, but I'm not sure how well it's going to show. That's how light it is at 7:20 in the morning when the school bus picks up my grandsons. Tomorrow, it'll be dark, which is another stupid reason I hate daylight savings time, because it's utterly stupid. We're not saving anything. We're actually losing money, but that's another rant. Which means stuff I could do in the morning, I can't do in the morning anymore because it's dark. So basically, it's not saving me any daylight at all. It's costing me daylight. And all the farmers around here too, they all hate it. All right, so let's we got a couple more just came in. All right, so as Walt said, and put Walt's comment back up here so you guys can see it. I see it's pinned there, so he's saying hit the thumbs up and make a comment. All right, so yeah, please do that. And if you're a troll, just go ahead and go away, trolls. All right, so let's go ahead and put me up over here. There we go. And this is where we ended yesterday. So I'm going to back up here actually, I'm going to take this out here. All right, not take it out, but unhighlight it. So I do that when I bounce around here. Because last night I was way up in chapter 11. Yeah, I was up in chapter 11, up here working on November 20th, the afternoon of it. And so, yeah. I will give you a spoiler alert up here on the 19th. Kimberly's dad arrives. So anyway, so let's get back down here where we're at here, okay, and take out the highlight. And so they're at the Kanab's city meeting at the high school in the gym, and let's see here. And so they've people for the SOG unit, and they've recruited a bunch of people that were former military to get them to come back, Army, Navy, even some Air Force, Marines, coming back to help out as a bunch of them are coming back as reservists to come out. They don't spend the evenings down at the camp. They just come out to the camp during the daytime to help train and the new recruits and everything. They got a bunch of new recruits, signing up. So that's what's going on. And she's going through it. She's she just got done teaching the what's called the Young Marines, which is sort of like Boy Scouts for the Marine Corps. Yep, and I just lost some more people. Oh well. And yeah. And then she was reiterating with everybody, telling everybody in Kanab that showed up to me that no one, and he goes, final points, no one, and I mean no one, will take any action against heaven's devils unless they attack people in Kanab. You're not yet trained for it. So just keep doing what you've been doing and let them come to us. Is that clear? No one responded. Isn't that clear? Kimberly shouted. This time she got some yes, Captain. But for the most part, they were weak mumbles. If you take action before you're properly trained, you will get yourself and others killed, including your family. Do you understand that? She got a lot more yes, captains than before. Hang on, I knew I forgot to change something around. This is supposed to go down here. That's not supposed to be capitalized. Oh, excuse me. And put that at the beginning. General Marquis barked in a deep, booming voice. All actions against Heaven's devils and any other gangs will be coordinated to minimize the loss of life, loss of local lives, wounded, and property damage. Is that clear? He shouts. A few more responded than before. Now, Kimberly said it with dramatic pauses, are there any other questions? The electric. Okay, now we're picking up where we stopped at. So here we go. The electrician stood. I have heard the one I believe is the. I've heard the one I believe is the one you called Sure Shot. And from their voice, she sounded like a young girl. I would like to hear her thoughts on what you have been doing and her part in your SOG. Keeper of the power of the gods. I saw you re-enlist. I saw you at the re-enlistment station. What is your name and rank? Staff Sergeant Gleason, Mark. Well, Staff Sergeant Gleason, Abigail said as she stood up next to the table that Kimberly had been setting her gear on. You're right, I am young, but I took third nationals for big bore PPC long distance, 500 yards in silent mode. Abigail paused as she organized her thoughts before continuing. Heaven's devils are the biggest threat to but Heaven's devils are the biggest threat currently, but they are not the only threat. Michael and Kimberly fought gangs in Tempe that were robbing jewelry stores and gold exchanges. She paused again. Who here? I need to change that. Has the books that they mentioned in their demonstrations, Blood Moon Falling, and the other books of the Tawaki Times series. A half dozen teens and a couple of adults raised their hand. Good. I need to change up a bunch here. If they are SO copies, convert them to PDF or Word doc, make Word doc, and make copies on CDs or thumb drives to share with every family in town. The second book is titled The Dying Winter, and it outlines just what the title says. 90% of the population is going to die this winter. The cannibalism of the heavens devils will be nothing compared to what will be happening in cities everywhere. Our best hope against that, as explained in the books, is home gardens, outdoor and indoor gardens. She held up her Zeus rifle. With this, I've taken out a number of heaven's devils, including my first Quigley yesterday. Abigail set her rifle down on the table on its bipod. My part is Overwatch and offensive sniper. When I qualify on the Barrett M109 25 millimeter, I will reach out and delete scum at just over 2 miles. I thought you were leaning towards the Barrett 50 cal, Michael said. The Barrett 50 cal is great, and it can delete them at over 3 miles. But the M109 can delete groups of them at a time at just over 2. Who knew you could snipe with grenades? Abigail giggled. Now that's sweet. That's scary, one of the moms said softly to her daughter. Are you sure you want to do this? What's scary? Abigail asked as she looked at the mother, whose mouth suddenly dropped open. You. And what you said about killing. Hang on, I need to put some more dot. I gotta really break this up like she's really freaking out here. About killing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Whoop. About deleting groups. 1, 2, 3. And the mother said nervously, so you and what you said about deleting groups, and the mother said nervously, and what? Shouldn't we all be thinking like that with the threat they pose? Do you have a son? Yes, 3. What are their ages? 5, 9, and 15. Do you want them to be sodomized and eaten? God, no. You have a choice. They get sodomized and eaten, or your daughter deletes them. Which do you want? I'll delete them, the daughter almost shouted. Excellent. Looking back at the mother. What's the oldest boy's name? David, she said hesitantly. All right, which would you rather that I do? A, continue to train and do the deleting of the groups hang on. I knew there was something wrong. Do the deleting of groups of those rapists, or B, give it all up, marry David, start making babies as soon as we are ready to take care of them and hope someone else is delete them, A or B. What? You got to be kidding me, the mother exclaimed. No, which would you rather I do? I guess A, no, B, she answered reluctantly. You want to know what I find scary, Abigail asked. No, the mother said quickly. That. What? She asked, totally confused. That attitude. Not wanting or willing to see the truth attitude. What do you mean? This is Tiwaki, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. And by that, I mean decades. What is Tiwaki? She asked slowly. The end of the world as we know it. Abigail explains it means no matter what the government does, the nation as a whole will lose power, fuel production, commercial food production, medicine manufacturing, clothing manufacturing. Everything will be gone. You're kidding, she exclaimed. The government is too big and powerful. The too big human trafficking, on illegal aliens, on poverty, and a whole bunch of other things. The only thing they won was making the lawmakers getting rich off the taxpayers, Abigail huffed. Time to take your rose-colored glasses off and look what's really happening. The internet is dropping, oops, need to put an S on here, dropping sites faster than turds from a flock of geese with diarrhea. Michael turned his head to hide his laughter. Most of the country is already without power, and it's not coming back for them for decades. When, not if, the Glen Canyon Dam fails, the power plant at its base will be gone, and no more power for us. When, not if, the generators all wear out, then no more power for us either. It is going to take decades to get industrial manufacturing up and running again, Kimberly said matter-of-factly. And that will only be in areas of the country that are sustainable and have enough people to support it. All of the experts say that this winter will be more devastating to the surviving population than what has happened so far. They are estimating 85 to 92% death rate. However, the vast majority of those deaths are in areas that don't or can't grow their own food, i.e. major metropolitan cities. And given that the majority of the relocation sites were moved to lower elevations for political greed, I'm guessing, over 25% of the population is already dead, according to those that have been monitoring the tsunamis. Thanks to the corruption of certain members of Congress, Michael added. Most of the gym gasped, which is why we need to secure our area, make it productive and self-sufficient, Chief Peel added. Staff Sergeant Gleason, Abigail called out. Any other questions or concerns? Just one if you don't mind. Just so long as it's not about my age, Abigail replied. Never mind. I have one, the mother that Abigail was interacting with stated. What's that? What would you prefer that I answered before? C. You didn't give C as an option. I know. You should have come up with that one on your own. What is C to you? To continue training, to do the deleting of groups and the groups of those rapists, and marry David and start making babies as soon as we are ready to take care of them. Hang on, I got to put this here. That is what you should have said. Kimberly folded her arms. Hang on. And STA and stared hard at Abigail. Personally, I would want to talk to him, see if we are even compatible enough to date, find out if we really want to be together and make babies. Oh, I would also rather wait until I'm 17 to start dating. All right, and we're just at 3 here, so. Check something here. Let me check something out here. All right, make sure I got this right here. Okay, yeah. As soon as they got back to Camp Resurrection from Kanab, First Sergeant Carlos Young got to work on setting up a live stream conference call. When the others searched the belongings of the Heavens Devils, they found a total of 13 more sat phones. The office building of the Jacob Blake Forest Service Workstation was now called the Administrative Facilities, and the maintenance building just behind it was called the workstation. On one of the sat phones was stationed by the intranet computer in the administrative facilities, so whoever was setting up this could call and make sure it was a good time to have it, and that the other parties got the link and login passcode. All right. We still have, all right, we just have the those that make comments in here. So all the trolls have left. And what do we got here? Hang on, his comment. Yeah, Abigail is hardcore. All right. Benjamin met Michael and Kimberly as they led the early Saga recruits from Kanab to their barracks. Sorry. Anyone? I'm sorry. I'm going to be burping a lot because this carbonated drinks make me burp. I need the energy to keep awake because I only got 4 hours of sleep last night. I don't know why I kept waking up. All right. Benjamin informed them that Canyon Country Mill and Resources had delivered some slat beds they had made today, and there were 10 on each side of the tarp. Tomorrow they would deliver 20 more as their support for our dealing with Heaven's Devils. When Michael realized there were going to be 14 girls and 8 boys, he commented to Kimberly that 2 of them were going to be sleeping on the floor. She replied, Danny has a mattress in his parents' quarters. He can choose where he wants to put it. I wasn't counting him. He better choose with the rest, or he's going to get grief. Okay. He's going to get grief from the others, Michael replied. Kimberly chuckled. Yep. Danny chose right and came in carrying his mattress. Colonel Nola Houston brought in Mrs. Bowman. Brought Mrs. Bowman over to the Saga recruits barrack and announced that for the next 2 nights she was the barracks mom and that she had a stun gun. Several of the boys cringed. We need another couple of mattresses, Michael said. Jenny and Alicia came in carrying a mattress. This is Alicia's mattress, Jenny said. And yours? Kimberly asked. I wasn't sure you wanted me in here. Why? Because I'm 7 years older than any of them. Yes, you are, and that's why I want you in here. Kimberly smiled. Jenny looked at Kimberly smiled. And hang on. And sighed. And sighed. That's how you're going to make me suffer more. Well, that's part of it. They screw up and I lose a stripe again. No, I'm not that evil. They will just go to you with their questions first. Ugh, Jenny shook her head. I guess I deserve it. She looked back at Kimberly. Any DIs tonight? Nope, tomorrow night. Duty hut being added to the new barracks. Tomorrow you will move everyone into those type barracks, and this will become a classroom. Kimberly reached into her back pocket and pulled out PFC chevrons and handed to Jenny. You are working harder than I expected. Jenny hesitantly took them. Thank you, Captain. Keep it up, and I'll have my father give you these. With her other hand, Kimberly showed Jenny sergeant's patches. Jenny sucked a big breath. But be warned, Kimberly hissed quietly. I will work the crap out of you. Not for the next 9 months, but for the next 3 years. And if not me, Captain and Lieutenant Chapman, and there are others that I will use as hammers on you and lead this SOG. Are you up to it? I will meet the challenge or die trying, Jenny said as she stiffened rigidly. Good, get to it. Don't segregate them, Jenny said. Spelled Jenny wrong. Jenny said, what? Ask the Chapmans. Oh, we got several more people. Okay, KP Heathen's in the house. Hey. Oh, we got a couple more just came in too. All right. Ask the Chapmans. I will. And when I get them squared, away tonight, hang on. I will get them squared away tonight. Alicia, we need to get another mattress. She headed towards the door. As Jenny and Alicia left, Michael stepped over to Kimberly. Is she going to fold? I don't think so. She really wants to make amends for her mess ups. Being short bed frames is going to cause some tensions, maybe, but I bet she puts all of them on the floor tonight. She wants to take the tarp down. Will that cause problems? Michael asked. Maybe, or it will bond them tighter and we'll get more completing the training. Abigail was thinking on coming here tonight. If she decides she wants to start sleeping here tonight, she will need another mattress. Just then, Janet and Susan came in carrying a mattress. Abigail wants to sleep with the group, Janet said. I think she doesn't want that extra run from the cabin down here, Susan quipped. Nope, Abigail said as she and Tara came in carrying another mattress. I'm going to meet Michael and Kimberly at the cabin every morning for extra running. Me too, Tamara said. Michael noticed that Abigail was wearing a pair of Smith & Wesson MP22 Magnum pistols with low 5.5-inch threaded barrels and suppressors and a double shoulder holster rig. Nice rig, he said with stress in his voice. I told your father to give her one like the one he gave Nora before she took off back to Tempe, Janet said, keeping the story for Nora going. I said that she needs a close-in weapon, and he agreed. You're right, Michael agreed reluctantly. Abigail stopped in front of Michael. The chamber is empty and will remain so, except in combat. Larry, Captain Robinson said, I need to be ready to have one in it. Michael nodded. Okay, sure shot. Abigail beamed brightly. And Howie's in the house. Ada Near's here too. For those that haven't been catching most of it, Abigail is Michael's missing younger sister from when they were both put up to adoption to different families. All right. After seeing that the SOG recruits were squared away with enough beds for the night, Michael and Kimberly headed over to the administrative facilities for the teleconference meeting. When the teleconference meeting started, Colonel Houston introduced General Sampson Marquess. General Marquess stated that he was retiring from MAGTAF, Marine Air Ground Task Force Training Center in 29 Palms when the asteroid was spotted, and volunteered to stay until evacuations and relocations could be completed. We had located everyone to Fort Carson, and the morning before the meteors came down, General Hanley discharged me, thanked me for staying and helping with the relocation, told me to go find my family. Gunnery Sergeant Campbell and Corporal Nash stayed as well for the relocation and were discharged at the same time. We were each given 3 weeks worth of rations, not to re-up, as General Hanley had only 8 months of supplies for those staying, and he wasn't sure how long before he would get resupplies. Being ready to leave, 6 others took General Hanley's offer and joined us. Some of them had family that lived in Arizona. Others were sure their families were safe in the relocation cities. We left Fort Carson on the morning of the 20th and made it to Camp Navajo just west of Flagstaff in about 10 and a half hours. After checking in with the camp commander, we were given the use of 2 officer housing units that were not currently in use. He took a struggling breath. The next day, we heard about the destruction of Fort Carson, and later the burying of Cheyenne Mountain and Ash. We immediately left and headed south towards Munns Park, checking areas we thought our families might be at. For the past 4 days, we searched for and found several of our family groups, including my son and granddaughter. We found one of the families as they were being attacked by a group of thugs. We were able to dispatch, We were able to dispatch the thugs before they realized what was happening. And for those that didn't catch what was mentioned last time, in the first book, A Scout is Trustworthy, at the T9 Tactical Gun Range, it was run by Philip Marquess, and that is General Marquess' son. So, yeah. So he was able to find his son and granddaughter. We came to Kanab for 2 reasons. First, because I have family here, and second was that my granddaughter Penny and a couple other teenage girls that we rescued said they would be safe here because of a couple people called Juby Chan the Ninja Girl and Archer the Super Scout were protecting the area. General Marquess chuckled and looked at Kimberly and Michael and Kimberly. I didn't realize that they were really superhero Marines. General Donaldson chuckled. Have you seen them in action? Have you seen them in action yet? Not yet. They can show you how to do push-ups afterwards, Commander Smythe said quickly. A barely contained laugh. Barely contained laugh. General Donaldson, Colonel Houston spoke up. We have a total of 96 re-ups and recruits as of today. Does that include Lieutenant Jackson's special recruits? No. Oh, no. And by the way, General Marquess promoted Jackson and Moore to captain during the Kanab meeting. It was easier and quicker than getting them the Meritorious Service Medal, General Marquess replied. And while we were tracking down our family groups, we found hundreds of families that stated that Juby Chan, the Ninja Girl, and Archer, the Super Scout, saved their lives by getting them to prepare and leave the Phoenix Tempe area before the tsunami flooded. Before the tsunami flooded it under 100 feet of water. And that's just the families we ran into. There are probably thousands more out there and more in other parts of the U.S. that watched the videos of them and followed their instructions. Not nearly as many as were saved by Sheriff Rogers, Kimberly quipped, trying to hide the emotion of joy of hearing the emotions of joy, hearing they saved so many. General Candace Smythe muttered, "He sure saved us." General Marquess and General Joseph Donaldson began. "To clarify, you were discharged the morning of the 20th, correct?" "Yes, I take it with the losses in and up around Fort Carson and the Cheyenne Mountain area. You would like me to re-up?" "Yes, and those with you," Vice President Mitchell added. That will not be necessary. If hang on, I'll put this. If I am permanently assigned here, I'm tired of bouncing around. I finally have my family back together again. Good, let me swear you back in. Now, where did I put? General Marquis stood, raised his right hand, and began. "I, Sampson Marquis, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation, that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office of which I am about to enter, so help me God." "Sworn in a few officers, I see," Matt Mitchell chuckled. "Just a few. I like to do it with all that were under me. I also like to do as many enlisted as I can, too. It builds a bond with them." "I'll start doing that as well, and thank you for your example," Joseph Donaldson said. "Colonel Houston, how many recruits did you get?" The Vice President asked. "We got 63 new recruits and 23 re-enlistments. We expect more of both to show up in the coming days," Albert answered. "Of the re-enlistments, 3 are doing it as reservists because their teens are in the SOG." "Excellent," Vice President Mitchell said, and then looked towards Kimberly and asked, "So, Captain Jackson, how many did you recruit for your SOG?" We recruited 60, 36 from Kanab, 2 of which are operations, 19 from Fredonia, 1 of which is a long-term operation, and 9 from Jacob Lake, including 2 family operations and 1 older operation. "And what are the operations?" Vice President Mitchell asked. "Those that are not 16 or 17, Kimberly answered. 3 that are 15, including 1 of my cousins. Michael's sister is 13. Recruit Holland is 24. Gene Bullman is 11. 11 exclaimed, hang on, I want to make that bold. 11 exclaimed Vice President Mitchell, cutting Kimberly off. "Yes, Jean and her sister and her 16-year-old sister were being raped by their father. I called him out on it, and when he tried to bitch slap me, I knocked him down, and they dispatched him with knives. I saw the fire in their eyes and wanted to give them a purpose and a family that will protect them. Their mother enlisted too. If Jean stays with it, I will keep her in training until she's 18. Kimberly took a quick breath. That is That is, except for local operations. Abigail, Michael's sister, is one of the best snipers we have. I plan on seeing if Jane can and is willing to spot for her. Abigail is a key component in taking out the drivers and passengers of the trucks carrying explosives and ammunition. Besides, Commander Smythe, Nora, spoke up in her British accent. In the rebellion of the colonies, she noticed the cringes on the monitors and smiled beneath their masks. The youngest child soldier recorded was 7 years of age. There were quite a number that were 10 through 15. 16 and older were standard military age. Most of the younger soldiers served in the capacity of fifer, drummer, bugler. However, a large number served as spies, messengers, and couriers, and of course, fighting soldiers and sailors. These children often worked on cannon crews called matros crews to assist in the firing of the cannon, carrying water to cool the cannons, and slake the thirst of cannoneers. They were used as pages delivering messages from the officers to the fighting men. Their instruments signal attack and retreat. The success of the fighting men could hinge on the skills of their musicians. The bravery of these children soldiers deserves respect. When Norris finished, she glanced over at Kimberly, who had her and your point specifically is, Vice President Mitchell asked. Historically, it's not unusual for an American youth to enlist. Captain Jackson was telling me about your Civil War and showed me a book on it. It was very interesting reading. It said that some of the youth that served in your Civil War included the youngest Marine, one George Penfield Bennett, born 1852, enlisted at 1861 in New York, Company B, 1st Marine Regiment, at the age of 9 years and 7 days. During the Battle of New Britain, he was presented with a pony by General Reno for intrepidity. Can't pronounce the word, on the battlefield. And one soldier was John Clem, joined the 22nd Michigan Volunteer Regiment as a drummer at 11 years of age, and became a mounted orderly on the staff of George Henry Thomas. And at the Battle of Chickamauga, he defiantly killed a Confederate colonel who ordered his surrender. For this, he was promoted to sergeant, the youngest soldier ever to be a non-commissioned officer in the United States Army. Clem went on to become a career soldier, retiring in 1915 at the rank of brigadier general. And yes, these are all true facts that I put in there. So yeah, you all just learned a bunch of history. Standing against the wall behind General Donaldson, slightly to his left, Lance Corporal Mary Donaldson stiffened and scrunched her face, trying not to make a sound. "Is there something on your mind, Lance Corporal?" General Donaldson asked, without turning or giving any sign that he knew she was struggling. "Nothing of importance, sir." The strain was slightly noticeable in her voice. "Out with it." "Dan Daly," she blurted out, obviously louder than she wanted, as she choked off the last name. "Any others you want to mention?" Joseph turned and looked at his daughter. "How many per name, sir?" 25. Willie Johnson, at the age of 11, joined Company D of the 3rd Vermont Infantry Regiment with his father in 1861 as a drummer boy. In 1863, he became the youngest Medal of Honor recipient in American history. She said as she put her hands on the floor, kicked her feet up, and began doing handstand push-ups. General Donaldson, Kimberly said quickly, "If she gets too annoying, you can deploy her here for a while." "Sorry," the vice president spoke up quickly. "I have her working on a project in her spare time." "Mr. Vice President, when the Lance Corporal is done with your special project, I really, 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 really want her for the SOG," Kimberly said. General Donaldson busted up laughing. "Not even her mother has ever used that many reallys in wanting her." "Thanks, Dad," Mary said with a hint of loving sarcasm. Yeah, I try to personalize the characters somewhat. Okay. Mr. Vice President, hang on, I need to put it in there. Dang it. Okay, I got it over here, but I'll put it in later. Nora spoke up quickly, again staying in her Commander Smythe persona. "The point being that America's leaders, British leaders, Canada's and Germany's and everyone else's need to realize that the age standards that have been put in place over the last 95 years or so need to be removed. Many European countries still have 15 as the age of consent. For sex, and it's just certain of the American states that think they can legislate morality by raising the age beyond what nature has set." She took a deep breath. "The same goes for combat age. Boys and girls with it is the artificial ages of 18 and 21 that have weakened your American spirit. That made the Bowman girls not fight back until Captain Jackson taunted their father with the truth about him being a weak man, needing to humiliate them to feel good about himself. Then they fought back and killed the bloody rapist." She ended with such obvious venomous tone that it made everyone nod in agreement. "Matt, Joseph," Walt Rogers spoke up, "the Venture crew are 14th birthday to 21st birthday. There are several 14 and 15-year-olds. There were several 14 and 15-year-olds facing off against Heaven's Devil at every encounter. They hang on. The Ventures were involved in. And now that the president has set the minimum age for law enforcement at 16, with an override for younger by police chiefs, CH, police chiefs and sheriffs, H-E-R-I, and sheriffs. I know there will be at least 4 that are wanting to join the Idaho Rangers. The Idaho Rangers, General Marquez questioned. Walt nodded off campus at 3 cowgirls wearing a blue bib front cavalry shirt, a blue bib front cavalry shirt, medium brown duster with matching cowboy hat, white leather gloves, a red bandana, walked into view and stood behind Walt. Then they introduced themselves. Sammy Harris, captain of the Idaho Rangers. Danny Rourke, Ahern, first lieutenant of the Idaho Rangers. Jerry Gray Cassidy, second lieutenant of the Idaho Rangers. The Idaho Rangers were set up to go after the gangs and groups of marauders and those that will try to set themselves up as warlords. We realized set them up as warlords, comma, that we realized would be rising up because they think they can get away with it. The Idaho Rangers will make an example of them, Walt said. And by that, I mean and with that, I mean the bad guys have one chance to surrender. If they do, they'll get a quick trial, quick sentencing, and the sentence to be carried out the same day it is handed down. And if they refuse, General Marquess asked Walt took a breath and held it for a 2 count before Lance Corporal Murray Donaldson spoke up. General, if I may. General Donaldson and Walt nodded, and Mary leaned forward and worked the mouse on the computer. A video popped up on the screens. 5 cowboys were standing in the middle of the road, and another 10, 5 on each side, facing off against 35 bikers. Suddenly, gunfire erupted, and in 6 seconds, all the bikers were down, and the video stopped. These were members of these were FIR, the first members of Heaven's Devils. We confronted, and Sarah, aka Lightning Death, Master Gunnery Sergeant Dyer, Danny Rourke Ahern, Jerry Gray, Cassidy, and her husband tried several times to get them to turn around. They refused with threats of sexual violence. Ah, I see, General Marquess replied. And non-Heaven's Devils? We've taken out several of those groups too, Walt sighed. Most of them thought there was no more law and they could do what they wanted. They had to learn the hard way. There will be many more like them before things begin to get better. Well, General Marquis, Captain Jackson, write up a proposal for 14 and 15-year-old recruits for your SOG. Colonel Houston, write up a proposal for the regular corps as well. Then he turned back to the screen. General Donaldson, Mr. Vice President, I'll forward those proposals for a review ASAP. Very good. Vice President Mitchell spoke. General Donaldson's and Smythe's will do the same. I'll have Commander Jackson write one from the Navy perspective as well, General Donaldson added. Mr. Vice President, City Marshal Pratt spoke up. Yes, Marshal. Has anyone heard from our state leadership? The images on the screen shifted as Homeland Security Daniels appeared. We received news today that Lieutenant Governor Rawls is alive and well at his ranch outside of Prescott, Arizona. Also at his ranch are 8 state senators, 15 state representatives. Also, there are 2 U.S. senators and 3 U.S. representatives. The state treasurer, superintendent of public instruction, state mine inspector were cabinet members that were there as well. The governor and the rest of the cabinet and state senators and representatives were holding a special session when the tsunami floodwaters struck and are believed to have perished, as they have not checked in with anyone. He took a deep breath. Governor Rawlins will be sworn in Wednesday, and I'll be sending a full report to Regional Sac Davies, as Arizona is in the western region, and he can forward it on to you, Marshal. Thank you, sir. And we got 4. All right, we got a couple more came in. So those that came in, please hit the thumbs up and make a comment. Like you can see, everyone's just checking in. Excuse me. Thank you, sir. Does anybody have any of the pressing business for this evening? Michael spoke up hesitantly. Just a point of information that pertains to Colonel Jackson when he arrives. Kimberly, Captain Jackson and I have agreed to postpone our wedding until he can come here to walk her down the aisle. Ah, very well. We will all remain silent on your wedding plans and Captain Jackson's Marine Corps affiliation, Vice President Mitchell said. Thank you, sir. Michael snapped attention, as did Kimberly as she echoed Michael's thanks. One more thing, if I may, Kimberly asked when she ended her salute. Commander Smythe has consented to be my maid of honor. General Donaldson, I would like Master Gunnery Sergeant Dyer to be one of my bridesmaids for several reasons. Most important, I believe, my father would like it. Agreed, General Donaldson said with a smile. It'll be my honor, Captain, Kathy Dyer replied. I would also like a certain female Marine who can do handstand push-ups to be one of my bridesmaids as well. Lance Corporal Mary Donaldson sucked a quick breath, and her father chuckled. All right, but you can't keep her. She must return with your father. Agreed, and thank you, sir. Kimberly smiled. And Lance Corporal, we are going to have a handstand push-up contest in front of the recruits and surviving members of the 4th Forcon that are here. I'll be ready, sir. Great. That's all the additional business I know of, Kimberly stated, looking towards General Marquest and Colonel Houston. They both shook their head no, and Vice President Mitchell said, then we are done. When the live stream software shut down, Michael turned and said, Larry, Peyton, Douglas, can I talk to you outside? Excuse me. When they got outside and off to the side away from everybody leaving, Michael spoke. All the friends that I grew up with are, well, elsewhere. You three are the closest guys to me. I'd like you to be groomsmen and one of you to be best man, Michael said. I've known Douglas the longest. Peyton has spent the most time at the cabin because of Susan, he interjected quickly. Exactly, Michael agreed. And I have worked with Larry, the most with Larry. He fidgeted a little more. And I don't want to offend any of you. Hang on. By not asking you to be my best man, don't worry about me. I'm just honored that you asked me to be a groomsman, Douglas said quickly. Me too, Peyton added immediately. Same here, Larry agreed. Then the three started suggesting reasons for one of the others for Michael to pick. They went round and around several times until they heard a quiet cough from the shadows. They all turned and stared until Kimberly stepped from the until Kimberly slowly came forward. Babe, it seems that you're having a very hard time picking your best man. Picking your best man, Kimberly cooed. Yes, I am, Michael answered sheepishly. Do you have a suggestion? Well, looking at it from my biased side, there's only one choice. Do you want me to ask for you? Please, my love. Kimberly walked up to Douglas and stared him straight in the eyes. Douglas, you served my father well and faithfully. Now I ask you to serve the love of my life by being his best man. Since you put it that way, of course I will, Douglas smiled. Now for the bad news, Kimberly said with a sigh. We need to make sure our dress blues are in perfect inspection condition, she sighed. She sighed again. My dad will give us all the thrice over beforehand. Douglas chuckled. That he will. Okay, hang on a minute. Okay, so we're down to chapter 7. Let me check. I want to check something here. So 283. Chapter 8 starts at, so we got 60 there. So let me go back up here. And let me check something really quick over here on the other side here. I got to check something here really quick. To see what I have in there. The 9th. Things are taken over there. 7th. Sunday, Monday. Okay. All right. I'll do it. All right. So, I gotta go. I gotta take care of something here personally, really quick here, and then I will be right back, and we will start reading part of chapter 7 for the next hour, and I can make adjustments to the future ones as well. But yeah, we went through. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer to get through the last bit of chapter 6 there. So I'll be back here in just a minute, folks. Don't go away. Go ahead and make comments and stuff, and I will see you when I get back. All right, I'm back and let's check comments out. And all right, Howie's still on here, and someone else is in here as well. That because I know who's making comments. I'm not sure who the other two in here that aren't making comments. And yes, part of it was Mother Nature, but I also because of the stuff in this energy drink, I need to get regular food in me. So the other day I did up 3 bottom round roasts, and so I just went and cut a. Hang on, let me make it big here for you so you guys can actually see it here. I went and did them up, and so I got I chopped some up with my Alaskan curved knife, and so I can eat this, and it's I can eat it and chew it really quick. All right, we just had a couple more come in too, so numbers are good. All right. Chapter 7, Reorganizing, October 28th, 2037, the 7th day after, hang on. I need to change this because I've been changing these, and I just make sure I get it right here. After the passing. All right. Peyton was still having a hard time coming to grips that he had joined the Marines. At least Susan was all for it and was joining them on the morning run. Joining them for part. Was going part way at night with Kimberly and Michael on their run. So Peyton had to go out too at night so he could be with her and keep her safe when she turned back to her trailer. 5 days after arriving at Ellison Air Force Base in Alaska, Colonel James Jackson was called into the commander's office to receive details on his next assignment. And then after a little more rest and refit, you will fly to Camp Tun Tavern in Idaho, where they are rebuilding the 4th Forcon. Camp Tun Tavern? Tun Tavern? Colonel Knox spoke up. It's a new base, sir. Most of the others have been destroyed by meteor showers or flooding. General Joseph Donaldson is in command there, and Master Gunnery Sergeant Kathy Dyer, 4th Forcon is his right hand until we get there. Cat? Yes, sir. Knox smiled. Ow. Major Donaldson got out years ago. I replaced him in the 4th Forcon. He did, but the vice president, but the president sent the VP to ask him to come back with a promotion. Admiral, I apologize, but over 2 years in a cave has left me so out of the loop that I'm having a hard time catching up. The general chuckled. No need to apologize, Colonel Jackson. Colonel Knox will help get you up to speed before you meet the vice president. What? He straightened up. He's secured at the DHS facility near Tun Tavern. Colonel Jackson nodded in acknowledgement. It was 7:30 when they finished PT and started making their way to the new chow hall. General Marquess had made it clear this was a Marine base, not an Army fort, and it was to be referred to as a galley or chow hall. The chow hall had been finished in time to serve dinner the evening before. More than a few of the Marines stated that it was the best chow hall meals they had ever eaten. 2 freezer trailers and one refrigeration trailer were backed up to the kitchen's loading dock. There was one more space for another trailer to be backed up to deliver more food. As they got to the chow hall, the first cars started pulling in with the new recruits. Michael and Kimberly turned to go meet them, but stopped when General Marquez ordered them to go eat. Just eat, as he and both Colonels Houston and Majors Martin Cooper and Robbie, as Majors Martin Cooper and Robbie Johnson, Lieutenant Zach Polson exited the chow hall and headed to meet the new recruits. Yesterday, it was decided that officers under 30 would run one of the shorter circuits until they're able to do the longer one. They would increase their distances until they were running the 10-mile course. Officers between 30 and 50 would also run one of the shorter circuits until they were able to do a longer one. They would increase their endurance until they were running the 5-mile course. Officers over 50 would run the 1.25-mile path around Camp HQ at least once a day, unless they had a medical reason, like Major Robbie Johnson, who instead put the time on the low impact exercise equipment. And for those that missed it earlier, in chapter 5, Major Robbie Johnson of the Air Force got out on a medical injury, and he came back just as an instructor to teach, to do classroom instruction. Because the older and little out of shape, officers ran the shorter distance. Excuse me. And hang on. I got an L. A shorter amount of time as they worked getting back into shape. They got to the chow hall and were done before the others got there. By the time Michael, Kimberly, Douglas Cooper, Mark and Linda Chapman, Commander Smythe, and Sergeant Drake Umber and the early recruits finished breakfast and made their way to the workstation, all of the Saga recruits were lined up in one area. I don't want to call them returnees. Let me put it back. E-N-L-I. Re-enlistees in another area, and the new regular recruits in a third area. And Lieutenant Paulson and 7 others walking around. Lieutenant Paulson and the 7 other walking wounded in a fourth area, all facing General Marquez, and the senior officer stood about 20 feet from the front of the center bay roll-up door. As they were approaching the workstation behind her, Kimberly heard the familiar sounds from her childhood when she would visit her father on base, the steady thumping of boots hitting the ground. "Marines, double time," Peyton called out as the Marines from the 4th Forcon and the re-enlistees from the Cooper group sped past. Kimberly shouted, "Recruits, fall in! Sergeant Umber, take the squad, double time." "Aye, aye, Captain," he replied. "Squad, double time march." He led the Saga recruits The second that were all right. He led the Saga recruits that had come on Monday along the perimeter of the gravel parking lot behind the workstation until he got to where the other Saga recruits were lined up. Then he led them up beside them. Quick time march. Hang on, it should be capitalized. There's a note. Quick time march. Staff Sergeant Umber called out when they passed the back of the group, and squad halt when they were even with the front. Bowman, JD, join the other new recruits. We thank you for your time as SOG barracks mom. Job well done. Thank you, Staff Sergeant. She double timed it over to where the regular recruits were lined up and took a spot at the back of the group. Staff Sergeant Umber and Staff Sergeant Cole took their place at the front of the SOG recruits. Michael, Kimberly, Douglas Cooper, Mark, and Linda Chapman made their way to stand with the senior officers when Master Sergeant Ollie Stain came around the corner of the workstation with the other 18 of the logistics command element singing out a cadence. Now, I'm not going to try to do the cadence here. I'm just, it's based. I'll just start the beginning of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Army, Navy, not for me. Air Force was just too easy. That's the cadence that goes on. I'm not going to go through it, the whole thing, because, yeah. So there's the cadence going on for there. And he ended with, tell me what you're waiting for. Platoon, halt. About face. Sergeant Stain marched over to Lieutenant Pusser and saluted. 4th Forcon, all present and accounted for. Thank you, Master Sergeant. Put the men at parade rest, Lieutenant and turned to General Marcotte, turned towards General Marcotte and began quick time marching to him. Aye, sir. Platoon, parade rest. Master Sergeant Steen called out and then took his place in front of them. Lieutenant Polson stopped in front of General Marcotte. Lieutenant Polson stopped in front of General Marquest and saluted. 4th Forcon, all present and accounted for. 21 still in the hospital. 6 will be fit enough to return on limited duty on Sunday. General Marquest returned to salute. Excellent, Lieutenant. At ease. Yes, sir. Lieutenant Pusser stopped in front of General Marquest and saluted. Logistic combat element, all present and accounted for. Hang on, I just realized a mistake here. Yeah. I need to fix that there. Control C. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Make it all match right so I don't cross it up there. All right. See you, Howie. All right. Lieutenant Puster stopped in front of General Marquess and saluted. The logistic combat element all present and accounted for. Is everyone here? Kimberly asked as she stepped up to Major Martin Cooper. Captain Jackson, you have 10 more SOG recruits who just showed up out of the blue. They tell me that the others have filled them in on all the rules. There are 2 male and 4 female from Kanab, 2 male and 2 female from Fredonia. Martin smiled slightly. They say that you may get more showing up over the next 2 weeks. Youth that have to help on the farm with the harvest up in Mount Carmel Junction, Orderville, Glendale, and further out. Recruit Cora Spencer said that she was in contact with some of the ROTC at Southern Utah University, and some might be headed this way this morning. Did she give them the time they were to report? Oh, yes. She said she was very specific about that and that the general would be greeting the recruits. Kimberly looked at her watch. 5 minutes ago. Who gets to ride him if they're late? Master Sergeant Peyton Grimm asked, then quickly added, hopefully they're not me. I don't need to ride possible future officers. Chicken, Captain Robinson jibbed. Nope, smart, Peyton replied. I hear a truck, Michael said when he heard the deep rumbling of the diesel engine. Deuce and a half, First Sergeant Young said. And a Humvee, Captain Robinson added. Who's going to stop him and tell him where to park, Major Martin asked. I can't run like I used to. I will, Staff Sergeant Lynn Free said as she started towards the driveway. The driveway from the front loop road, from the loop road. Have them park in the lot next to the Administrative Facilities Building, Colonel Houston called out to her. As soon as the Humvee and Deuce and Half shut off, Sergeant Free started shouting, "You are late! General Marquess is waiting on you. Leave your gear and move it. Sergeant Grimm had made his way over to the corner of the work station. As soon as he saw the first recruit cadet starting towards him, move it, girls. My dead grandmother is fast. My dead great grandmother is faster than you. He pointed over to where Gunnery Sergeant Oliver had stepped a couple yards away from the fourth standing parade rest. When the first recruit ROTC cadet got halfway to him, he started shouting, pick those feet up and move them, you sorry cows. I have seen a pregnant water buffalo move faster and with more grace. Move it. I love our sergeants, Kimberly quipped with a chuckle. When the ROTC was lined up, Colonel Houston stepped forward. Work details. Go see Mr. Clark and Mr. Miller for your assignments. Limited duty personnel. You will follow your limitations or Mrs. Jackson will take the strap to you, and I won't save you from her. Move out. Once they had cleared the area, he continued. After General Marquess addresses the rest of the company, Captain Jackson, you will take your SOG recruits in and get them outfitted. Gunnery Sergeant Santero, Gunnery Sergeant White, take your re-enlistments on a camp tour. Then get them outfitted and settled in their barracks. After that, bring them back to the workstation for in-brief. Gunnery Sergeant Campbell, Staff Sergeant Freeze, you will do the same with the ROTC. Master Sergeant Grimm, Sergeant Cisco, Sergeant Painter, Sergeant Smith, and Sergeant McGee. You have the new boots. He took a deep breath and blew it out. Recruits and reenlistments, General Marquez will now address you. This is the most unusual military base in American history since the Revolutionary War. Although Army Delta Force has pulled from all branches, we will be doing it on a larger scale. This base also has its roots in the fire bases of Vietnam, and that we are under fire as we are trying to build. Yesterday, we in the local militia engaged in yet another battle with the gang known as Heaven's Devils. 312 of them were eliminated, 17 taken captive for questioning. This brings the total to 782 eliminated. All recruits, other than specially designated ones from the Saga, will not engage the enemy until they are fully trained, unless it is the last resort for defending the area. Any exceptions to this will be issued ahead of time and be very specific. Captain Jackson has assembled an amazing cadre of martial art instructors and Tier 1 operators from Delta Force to train you in hand-to-hand combat and non-firearm weapons. General Marquez openly chuckled and shook his head. Yesterday, I was totally shocked to watch Captain Jackson eliminated 113 Heaven's Devils in 58 seconds with a katana. Captain Chapman and Lieutenant Chapman of Delta Force eliminated another 135 in 70 seconds. And little Sure Shot pulled off three Quigleys and a hat trick and removed 5 other truck drivers from their trucks. The teams didn't even use claymores this time, like they have before when ambushing the Heaven Devils groups. There were slight gasps from the recruits at several points as General Marquez spoke. I was informed that Commander Smythe cracked Heaven's Devils code for their evil plans, and they're planning on using the Northroom facility to winter over, and then in spring take over the agricultural and industrial industries of northern Arizona and southern Utah, such as the refinery between Fredonia and Kanab, and the farms to the north. To do this, they're planning on sending over 5,000 gang members here to turn Fredonia and Kanab into slave camps. More gas and even a few shouts of disapproval and resistance. Silence in the ranks, Colonel Houston boomed. Those who mouthed off, step out and drop and give me 100. 6 stepped out from the new recruits, 1 from the returning servicemen, none from the SOG, and none from the ROTC. Colonel Houston eyed the ROTC specifically, but he had not noticed if any had opened their mouths. Suddenly, Commander Smythe's voice roared out as she came down the driveway. ROTC, I saw 2 mouthing off. Step out now and give me 50. Give 150. Sorry, I need to put 100 in there. 150 push-ups. Not fun. 150 push-ups and sit-ups. If I have to drag your sorry butts out to do it, it'll be 200 each, and it'll train duty for the rest of the week. The cadet master sergeant muttered something and 2 stepped out. But before they could drop, Commander Smythe rolled again. Those are not the 2 I saw, Cadet Master Sergeant. Now you owe me 100 each. Nora said as she stormed over to them. When the correct 2 quickly stepped out and started doing push-ups, she kept going until she was over them. You had to wait until I was moving, so 200 and 2 days of train duty. You will remove your cadet ranks. Your DIs will determine if you get to keep any rank or not. Odin Hancock, one of the 2 doing push-ups, suddenly gagged like he was going to vomit. What's your problem, Cadet Corporal? Nora hissed. Hang on. I need to put this down here. Keep everybody on the same page. Control C. Control V. Try to keep this the same for all the way through. And Control C. There's blood and pieces of flesh on your boots. Oh, that's just the guts of the biker I just finished interrogating. Commander Smythe chuckled. You should see his feet. If you barf, I'll make you clean out the interrogation room, understand? Yes, ma'am. Good. She did a quick about face and double time march to the senior officers. She saluted General Marquest and then asked loud enough for the ROTC to hear. May I please be assigned to the ROTC? General Samson Marquest heard loud groans from the recruits, the reenlistments, and the ROTC. Only silence came from the Saga recruits, but they were struggling to remain silent. Then he realized that there was muffled sounds behind him, and slowly he turned and saw the entire command staff at attention with clenched fists at their sides and faces struggling not to laugh. The only one not struggling was Kimberly. Her eyes were closed and was slowly shaking her head while pinching the bridge of her nose. Captain, you look like the only one trying not to laugh. Care to explain? Kimberly cleared her throat and in a loud voice said, so all could hear, said, and I looked and beheld a pale horse, and her name that sat upon him was Eleanor Smythe, and she is the angel of death, and all hell followed with her, and power was given unto her over the whole of the earth, to kill with hammer and sword, and lightning and soldering iron, and with death's stare, and with all hell, and the beasts of the earth, and the fires of heaven, to devour all she slays. General Marquest leaned back away from Kimberly with wide eyes. I don't remember the verse quite that way. That's from the book of Interrogation and Lament. I can't pronounce the word. Lamentations. An evil grin crept across her face, and there's supposed to be something in there. Hang on. I need to search this. Control F and see how many come up. 4. All right, let me go down and find the added part to it. There it is. That's what gets added to it. Control C. Go back up. And back up. Three. I need to do one more. Control V. Back up. And number 1, that goes up there. There we go. So General Marquez leaned back away from Kimberly and from Kimberly with wide eyes. I don't remember the verse quite that way. That's from the Book of Interrogation and Lamentations, as recorded by the Red Assassin. An evil grin crept across Kimberly's face. Hang on. General Marquez fought to suppress his laughter. Commander, I will need to confer with my staff before I make my decision on your request. Nora saluted. Understood, sir. And then she whispered to Kimberly, that was so sweet. I'm going to embroider that on a throw pillow. General Marcos lost it and started chuckling. He turned around. Colonel, how do you deal with them? I just go with the flow for several reasons. They help us deal with the stress. The president bless them, and most importantly, their kill ratio is 1,000%. Oh, and they do monitor themselves if they go too far. General Marquez nodded. The recruits are yours, Colonel. Aye, General. He turned and shouted, Sergeants, get to it. General Marquez noted that Commander Smythe noticed that Commander Smythe was staring at the ground like a scolded puppy. Commander, I apologize for my behavior and remarks. I get a tad wild after an interrogation session. Hang on. Now you put this down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Commander Smythe said softly, still looking down. Me too, Kimberly added. See, Colonel Houston said, even their apologies are meant to ease our stress. Ew, Kimberly suddenly shrieked. You do have blood and guts on you. Didn't you put on clean clothes this morning? I haven't been to the trailer yet. I finished with number 7 at 11 o'clock. At 11, I finished with number 11 and took a break. You've been interrogating them all night, Colonel Houston exclaimed. I couldn't go back to the trailer and just let them get some sleep. So I grabbed some sandwiches from the chow hall and went back to work. And you didn't come get me, Kimberly fumed. I asked you to be my maid of honor and you left me out. I started to, she paused for several seconds, but you looked so cute cuddled up with Michael with that big grin, I couldn't bring myself to wake you up. Nola started giggling and quickly covered her mouth and turned away. Kimberly was speechless, frozen, unmoving, with her mouth hanging open. Michael's dad was still up and let me in to get you, but like I said, you look too damn cute to wake up. I'll get the SOG over to get their gear, Michael said as he walked off with a big smile on his face. All right. I have to get back to interrogating the last several. Hang on here. Hang on. Undo. It's not supposed to be because I did the other. I hate it when I try to copy something and it doesn't take. That's one of the problems with the new updates to Microsoft Office that they're pushing out. They're really screwing up the functions really bad. All right. Control V, period. No. SAID, period. I'll join you. Give me a. Houston interrupted. You have to see to your SOG. I'll go. Kimberly, Nora, Michael, Albert all snapped their heads around and looked at her. I've been watching their procedure on camera, and I think I have it down. I can swing a mean hammer, Nola responded to their looks. We'll be glad to have you join us. In the room. Us, several of them asked. Peggy, Louise, and Harper Robinson were helping me out last night. Hang on. They need to add a wide. They decided they wanted to be NSA interrogation contractors. Whoa! Captain Mark Chapman exclaimed in a lower than normal voice. How did they know about them? Control. They deduced it, Commander Smythe said. They said since the CIA isn't supposed to be conducting operations in the United States, excuse me, even though they obviously are or were, the NSA would be the next logical agency that would be doing it. Also, since the FBI is under so much scrutiny, they are going to let someone else do it for them, and just channel funds to the NSA to run the operation for them. Hence the NSA. Well, I won't say have fun, but be productive, Kimberly said as she walked away. After a few seconds, she stopped and turned around. Larry, your sister and cousins will be fine. We'll make sure they are watching the PTS videos often. They have been. I just didn't know why. Larry Spond responded. The early arrivals of the SOG sorry, I was thinking about putting something else in and trying to figure it out here. The early arrivals of the SOG had okay, I'm going to change this around. SOG members early on Monday. Delete. Oh, put a comma in there. Had been helping inventory the trailers and cargo containers that the logistic combat element had brought with them. They found that 2 of the 53 trailers were all MCCUs, and one of the 40. Hang on, because that doesn't go with it. Hang on, I got to change it. Change this up here around because they had already determined that one of the 40 footers was MCCUs. Let me work on this. All right. Hang on, I got to figure this out just to get it right. A TWEN 20 foot CAR cargo container. All right, now you work those others up here, get it figured out. Okay, so I need to take need to clear a space. Shoot. I want to make sure that I know I said something specifically earlier, so hang on. I want to mark this so I don't miss it, and I come back to it easy. Now I got to go back up to Kanab. All right. Hang on. That was that. So it's down farther here. Marksmanship. Okay, let me go here and put down in here. I want to put in here. Let me do this one here. Here we go. Okay, sometime after here. All right, so it's one of the 40-foot. I'm going to change just some cargo containers. I'm going to change it here to trailers, TRAILER, trailers. There. Now I can come down here to back down here and find it here where I was at here. Here. There we go. Now I take this and undo this here, and now I can make it all work right because I got to make sure it's consistent to what was mentioned earlier about where uh, Jenny Holland had found some MCCU uniforms before. And I need to switch this around here. Contained dress blues. This one here was contained dress blues. delete. Contain. Okay, I'm getting it all squared out. All right, there we go. Move this up here. And make that T-H-E-R. All right, get it squared up here. All right, there, I got it squared up here. All right, so this paragraph is now correct what was mentioned earlier in the book, so everything matched together here. The SOG members that had arrived early on Monday had been helping inventory the trailers and cargo containers that the logistic combat element had brought with them from MAS Yuma. They found one of the 40-foot trailers was all MCCUs. Two of the 53-foot trailers were all MCCUs. Another 40-foot trailer contained dress blues, and a 20-foot cargo container contained winter gear, and another 20-foot cargo container had gear for naval marine aviators. One of the 40-foot cargo containers was MREs. The other was basic gear. One of the 20-foot cargo containers was an assortment of rifles and other projectile weapons. One was full of mines and claymores, and the rest were ammunition. There we go. The group of Heaven's Devils that they had intercepted the day before had two 40-foot cargo containers that were filled with quad ETVs in gas, diesel, and electric and hybrid models. Those were emptied immediately, and Anthony and Roy Gallo began assembling them with some help from the ATV dealer in Kanab, who sent two mechanics. The two quad ETVs 40-foot containers were then emptied. When emptied, were moved next to the two 53-foot trailers with the MCCUs in them. Hang on. All right. Hang on here. Next to the two 53-foot trailers with MCCUs in them. Some shelves were built in them. and some of the MCCUs were moved into them and organized to organize them for better. Staff Sergeant Umber and Staff Sergeant Cole marched the SOG's recruits to the trailers and containers. The early arrivals then took their previous assigned positions to begin to issue MCCUs to and other gear to the other SOG recruits. Once the new SOG recruits had their gear, Staff Sergeant Umber and Staff Sergeant Cole marched them to their barracks and got them squared away. While Michael stayed and oversaw the issuing of gear to the regular recruits, and then to any of the reenlistments that needed hang on. That needed gear. The SOG recruits were a bit taken back to find that barracks were co-ed. When PFC Jenny Holland told Kimberly not to segregate the SOG recruits, Kimberly thought she was nuts, and even when she told her to talk to the Chapmans about it. But when the four of them got together, Jenny explained what she was thinking. The Chapmans agreed that they did that in the field. It bonded the unit, and it usually was the female's idea. They had hated being just a couple of them off by themselves. When Kimberly counted that there were more females than male, Nora, hang on here. I think I screwed that up, so I can't copy that. Nora came out of the shadows and said that should help keep everybody honest and well behaved. In the morning, hang on. So in the morning, quick changes were made to the larger barracks that was still under construction. It was enlarged to house at least 90 recruits, with 2 duty huts at the entrance, one on each side, one for Staff Sergeant Umber and one for Staff Sergeant Cole. A large shower and toilet house was attached to the other end and had 15 showers and 20 toilets on each side, with a sign hang on, this doesn't look, I gotta fix this. With a male's sign in large, with a very large arrow pointing to the left, and females also with a very large arrow but pointing to the right. At the front, near the duty hut, there were 3 single beds, aka racks, on each side. The one on the right and closest to the duty hut, hang on, was made up and had a closed footlocker with Holland J on it. The other 5 racks were bare, and the footlockers were open. Were bare with the bedding, the bedding, D-I-N, the bedding folded, F-O-L-D, folded at the foot, and the foot lockers were open. No. Undo. Ignore. And okay. After the third single rack, there were 42 bunk beds, aka racks, on each wall, except for 23 that were made up. On the aisle of each of the racks were 2 foot lockers that were open, except for the ones with names on them, which were in front of the beds that were made up. Across the road, a dirt 1-lane path where what was a 6-room barracks. Each room, like the duty huts, had a rack, desk, small bookshelf, locker closet, shower, toilet, full-length mirror, and folding table. The 2 rooms at the back were a little larger and had, hang on here, and had HAD, Captain Moore on one and Captain Jackson on the other. The 2 at the front had SSGT Umber on one and SSGT Cole on the other. The 2 in the middle did not have names on them yet. Staff Sergeant Umber went down one side, calling out a name and pointing to a rack and foot locker. Staff Sergeant Cole went down the other side, doing the same thing. Okay. 294. Yeah. Hang on. Whoop. All right, we're going to end it here. Yeah, it's just a little over 2 hours, but we're going to end it here now. And let me go change this to here. And let me go ahead and save that. Yeah, so we're going to end it here now. In less than 2 hours, I'll be going live with Shadow Scout Swede, the Sofa Survivalist, UK Urban Prepper, and possibly World Survivalist. And the topic for this afternoon is preps that you should, items you should have already in your preps. And so that starts at 2 o'clock Eastern time. And then at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight, for my Survival Saturday, the topic is, after the banks are taken over, what are your plans? And then tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Eastern, we'll pick it up with where we just finished off just now. All right. So with that, hopefully I'll see you in an hour and 45 minutes. Okay, take care.